Maria. All right, we sound good. Buckle up. This one was sent in by one of you guys. If you ever want to send me stuff, I'll leave an email down below. This one is called The Stupidity Epidemic: Why Critical Thinking is Dying. It's got a 500,000 views with 11,000 comments, so seems to have ruffled some feathers. This was great, though. Just the description. Get ready for this. Set the tone. Stupidity isn't just a lack of intelligence. It's the refusal to think critically, and it's everywhere. Wow, wow, wow. In this video, we dive into the stupidity epidemic, exploring why people ignore facts, how social media fuels misinformation, and why some people believe stupidity is more dangerous than evil. Oh, that was good, dude. We're going to blow this mama up. We'll get this party cranking. It should be fun.
You know, I really hesitated to make this video because, well, it's probably going to get me into a little trouble.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can guarantee you, I will have hovered over that publish button for a long time before I uploaded this. But here we are. Because sometimes you just have to talk about the elephant in the room. And today, that elephant is stupidity.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, stupidity is everywhere thanks to the internet, and pretending it isn't is not helping anyone.
So far, so good.
Hey everybody, I'm Rachel. Welcome back to the channel.
What's up?
I'm here to share information to keep you happy, healthy, and well informed at the risk of pissing you off. Because if having breast cancer twice taught me anything, it's that some things are worth saying, even if they ruffle a few feathers. For the great
Damn, breast cancer twice. To be fair, I don't think you could really insult, like, do people who are kind of dumb, do they even know? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know if you're stupid? Like, I think I'm stupid sometimes, but I know I'm smart. Look up the definition of smart. You'll be surprised. Just saying. Just saying.
greater good, right? This isn't meant to offend anyone. It's just my way of pointing out a universal truth that we can all learn from. And more than that, my intention here is always to make you think, to challenge your assumptions and maybe see the world a little differently.
The nature of human stupidity.
Now, before you get defensive, let's be clear. Stupidity isn't just a lack of intelligence, and I am not calling anyone stupid. You can have a genius IQ and still make decisions that make people question whether your brain is on vacation.
Guilty.
And
Guilty.
as history has proven, some of the most powerful people in the world have made some of the dumbest choices imaginable. So let's define it. Stupidity isn't just about not knowing things. It's about refusing to think critically. It's about repeating nonsense until it sounds like wisdom. Voltaire once said, the more often a stupidity is repeated, the more it gets the appearance of wisdom. And history has proven him right. Think about how...
You know what's crazy? What she just said? This is something that blew my mind. This happened about maybe almost 10 years ago now. I started to see people, I don't really listen to rap, but this is crazy. But rappers started to get like these face tattoos, and this is going to make sense. But it almost said, hey, if you get face tattoos, you have now a chance to make it. It was like a marketing thing. But really, if you break it down, no offense to anybody with face tattoos, I really don't give a shit. But if you break it down, it's a pretty stupid decision, is all I'm trying to say on that. That was something that I couldn't believe how big that got. Even to this day, I'm still shocked by it. But that's kind of not the same concept, but it is something where, like, if something seems normal, or, oh, that's a smart, you want to be a musician or you want to be popping on the internet, it almost seemed like a smart thing to do was to tat your face for marketing. I just always thought that was nuts. Anyways, back to this lady. I just wanted to just say that out loud. I just always thought that was fascinating.
People used to believe that bleeding someone with leeches could cure them of illness, or how tulip bulbs in the 1600s became more expensive than houses because of irrational market speculation. True story. Google tulip mania. Anyway, if you hear something enough times, even if it makes no sense, it starts to sound like a fact. And suddenly, a ridiculous idea becomes an unshakable belief, and people are swearing by it like it's gospel. Thanks, Voltaire, for pointing out that particular nightmare.
Makes sense. Stupid is everywhere.
Now, these days, the word stupid is thrown around a lot by all sorts of people. The internet and social media have made it almost acceptable and commonplace as a catch all insult. Whether it's used to dismiss opposing views or to simply sound tough and edgy, it has become a lazy substitute for genuine critical thought. On a personal note, I was recently called stupid, not because I did or said something foolish, but simply because I disagreed with someone and I backed up my comment with facts that were readily available.
Well, that's like the funniest thing. I'm looking up the actual definition of stupid. Slow of mind, obtuse. Given to unintelligent decisions or acts, acting in an unintelligent or careless manner, lacking intelligence or reason. Those are basically Webster's dictionary here, okay? But here's the crazy one, right? I remember I had to be in like second or third grade, and my teacher called me a smartass. Yeah, called me a smartass. And all I said was, "You called me smart." Tried to cover it up with that little ass comment. But yeah, I remember that was like a thing though, because the definition of smart isn't exactly what you think it means. So the definition of smart, if you type this in, it goes having or showing a quick-witted intelligence. That's about it. So that's why people say he's book smart. He's smart at this. But you could also just be a smart ass. Like you could just be smart, right? And at particularly nothing but communication, I guess, is where I'm trying to get at this. Just something, just in case you didn't know, because sometimes these definitions get swarmed around, and I'm like, wait, what does this word even mean anymore? Anyways, back to this lady. Let's blow her back up. She's. This is getting good.
I'm not going to dive into what the discussion was about because it's really not relevant here. But it goes to show how quickly some people resort to labeling others as stupid when they are confronted with contradictory evidence and a different opinion.
Ignorance versus stupidity.
Now, before we go any further, let's make one thing clear. Ignorance and stupidity are not the same thing. Ignorance is simply not knowing something. It's a lack of information. I am quite literally ignorant of a lot of things, and I have no problem admitting that. Stupidity, on the other hand, is refusing to think critically, even when the information is right in front of you. Ignorance can be fixed with learning. Stupidity, that takes a little more work because it often requires unlearning bad habits, questioning one's own biases, and making the effort to think beyond convenience. In fact, there have been numerous studies on human stupidity that reveal it's not just random or inherent. It is very often rooted in cognitive biases and social conditioning. It turns out that what we casually dismiss as stupidity is actually way more complex than a simple lack of knowledge. Enter.
Stupidity's complex. Kind of is, man. You know what else is? You know what else is kind of nuts is how much how dumb sells. Like being retarded, not literally by the definition, not mentally retarded, but being stupid for some reason, it sells. It just does. Jackass is just one example. Not to mention, scroll on Instagram or any of this shit. It's like, if it's stupid and somewhat sexy, forget it. Forget it. Yeah. And then it makes other people, they go, oh, I got to do the dumb shit now to get, to become popular or something. It's really odd, actually. It really just is.
Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian who, in the 1940s, argued that stupidity is actually more dangerous than evil. Why? Because evil has intent. Evil knows what it's doing. Stupidity, on the other hand, can be manipulated, weaponized, and used by evil without even realizing it.
Yeah, that's why they call it like an evil genius, right? Like Hitler. He was evil, but he was a genius. Real quick. No, just because sometimes people get this. When you think genius, what do you think? What do you think, honestly? You think rocket scientist. You think mathematician. That's what you think. I'm pretty sure that's what you're thinking right now because you're stupid. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But you'd be surprised to find out genius definition if you type it in. Hold on. Okay, so a genius, according to the dictionary here, Webster's, is an attentive spirit of a person or place, or a person who influences others for good or bad. So somebody to have a mass influence can be a genius. And then there also is the part where it's like extraordinary intellectual power, especially as manifested in a creative activity. Yeah, a person endowed with extraordinary mental superiority. Okay, so it's like two different things, but a genius can also just be as simple as like he's a genius. He was able to, like, even stupid people where it's like something super dumb was done and like a billion people watched it. It's like it was so stupid that it's genius. I know. I just thought that was crazy.
Think of it as evil's unsuspecting sidekick, like a villain's henchman who blindly follows orders, never questioning why they're holding the detonator to destroy their own life. Bonhoeffer didn't see stupidity as an issue of intelligence, but rather of a moral failure, an unwillingness to think critically. He believed that stupidity thrives in environments where people surrender independent thought in favor of group ideology, propaganda, social pressure, or blind allegiance to authority. In other words, it's not that people are inherently stupid, it's that they stop questioning, they stop analyzing, and they allow themselves to be swept along by the tide of collective thinking. They've willingly, sometimes unknowingly, abandoned their capacity for critical thinking. And here's the kicker. Bonhoeffer also pointed out that stupidity and power go hand in hand. The more power someone has, the more likely they are to stop thinking critically and just start being, well, stupid. That's because power isolates people from honest feedback. Once you surround yourself with enough yes men, your grip on reality starts to slip. I stumbled onto Bonhoeffer's work recently when the algorithm put it on my feed, and I was completely fascinated by his insights on how power can dull critical thinking and his theory of stupidity. If you're curious, I highly recommend checking out some of his writings or videos.
Well, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like when you're calling bullshit when you're a kid, you're like 7, and you're like, well, why is this done like this? And then your parents or whoever's in charge with the power goes, no, that's just how the world works. That's just how it is. And you're like, but why? Eventually, a lot of us stop asking those questions. And then it's almost as if we're just on autopilot. And whatever you say, I now just go, yeah, that's just the way it is. So that makes a lot of sense, actually. Like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
An interesting perspective worth exploring, in my opinion. And this leads me to Charles Bukowski's point. The problem with the world is that intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Ever noticed how the loudest, most self-assured voices in the room aren't always the ones making the most sense? That's because truly intelligent people question themselves, their ideas, and their understanding of the world. They know they might be wrong. They accept input from others. Meanwhile, those who are completely convinced of their own brilliance often lack the self-awareness to realize they might not know what they're talking about.
That's how I feel about everything. The older I get, I feel literally the less I know. Like, I literally just don't even know anymore. I just like to laugh it off, have the conversation. I like to joke around. I like to have a good time. But it's hard for me to take anything as just full-blown fact anymore. I just have the hardest time because I'm looking at it going, how do you know? How do you know this for sure? Get what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, gravity is a theory, right? but we take it as fact. But it's a theory. This is a perfect example of something that was just a theory, but it's been around long enough to where we just take it as like, no, that's how it is. It defies, like, okay, best way to put it. So, old friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name, he got in trouble. He's on the watch list. Like, he got a car to get 70 miles to the gallon with a ping pong ball and a cylinder full of water in a Nissan, right? Well, you can't patent certain ideas if they defy the laws of physics. But a lot of the laws of physics are just theory. So it's like, there's something you can do where it's like, no, it's possible. And then like, nope, not according to this book that was written by this fucking guy who knows all. Anyways, I'm not going to go too deep into that, but turns out if your idea or something you've created defies the laws of physics, you're not going to be able to do anything with it, which makes no sense. But that's where we're at. So, anyways.
Confidence is great, but when it's paired with ignorance, it's a dangerous mix. Number 1,
Ways to combat stupidity. That's beautiful.
ask questions. If someone is confidently wrong, sometimes the best thing you can do is ask, why do you think that? If their answer sounds like it comes from some poorly written conspiracy blog, you know you're dealing with some high-grade industrial strength nonsense. Number 2, be aware of your own blind spots. Stupidity is not just other people's problems. We all face times where we lack intelligence or knowledge of something. The trick is to recognize when we are being the fool in the conversation and adjust accordingly. And spoiler alert, it happens to the best of us. No one is immune. Number 3, don't mistake confidence for competence. Some of the most foolish ideas are delivered with the most certainty. Just because someone speaks loudly and assertively doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Confidence doesn't necessarily mean competence. Number 4, recognize when to walk away. There are some arguments you just can't win because, brace yourself, some people like being stupid. It's comfortable. Thinking is hard, which is why, as Carl Jung pointed out, most people would rather judge than think. If someone is determined to live in their little bubble of nonsense, sometimes the best thing you can do is let them. They will figure it out one way or another, hopefully. Number 5, fact check yourself before you wreck yourself. In a world where misinformation spreads faster than a cute dog video, take a minute to research before you share something. Look at reputable sources, cross-check information. Be willing to change your mind if new evidence comes to light, because the only thing worse than encountering stupidity is contributing to it. Now, here's something we don't talk about enough. Stupidity isn't just frustrating. It's actually bad for your health. This is why I'm talking about it today. Whether you're...
Oh, man, it's bad for your health. Yeah, I smoked cigarettes for years. Stupid. I know. Retarded. But you get addicted to them. And then you're literally addicted. It's like fat people. They're just addicted to food. I don't blame them. I smoke cigarettes. Right? And then sometimes, I'm not even going to get into medication, but it's almost like if you don't drink, smoke, or take a medication to survive throughout the day and you're fit, God bless you. Or here's some comments. Winning an argument with an intelligent person is difficult. Winning an argument with a stupid person is impossible. Yeah, I simply just won't even go there. I won't do it. It's like one of my dear friends loved to just get into arguments. And I was just like, I just walk away. And he's like, you always want to walk away. And I go, no, dude. You have this thing where you just want to argue all the time as if it's some kind of excitement. And I go, it doesn't matter what I tell you. You're going to take whatever your belief is and just, that's it. It's firm. For instance, a perfect way to say it is I had a crazy idea once where I said, I'm just like, I go, what if the earth is actually like a snow globe? I was just thinking crazy. That's it. I'm just having a thought. I'm not saying I believe this. I just said for a second, think about it. What if the Earth is the accurate representation of that is a snow globe? That's all I said. But you can't have this conversation with somebody who's not willing to go, oh, yeah, that'd be kind of trippy, and not take it as me insulting your intelligence because you know for a fact that it's just a floating ball. Like, that for 1,000% fact. And that makes sense. Yeah, I won't even argue with them. And saying these ideas out loud like right now, you can't argue back with me. So I don't feel any way of just saying that, because I don't have to sit here and listen to anybody go, oh, dude, you're fucking insane. I'm like, no, I'm not. I just had a crazy thought. That's it. I just for 1 second said, what if? That's all I said. We live in a time where intelligent people are silenced so that stupid people won't be offended. Yeah, that's the best. People aren't being taught how to think. They're being taught what to think. That's deep. That's deep. Yeah, like I said, since you're 7 or 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, calling bullshit, you just get shut down left and right until you just start going with the flow. A lot of people end up taking medication or they become alcoholics just to get through because they know all this shit's bullshit. None of us, so much stuff we do is just, I have a crazy theory that, this is my theory, that there's so much stuff. I have a filing cabinet right here that is filled with information that I might need to remember. That's why it's in a filing cabinet. Then I have a computer right here, also filled with information in case I forget about it. Then also right here, I have more information packed into this device so I don't forget about it. So my theory is there's so much for us to do and remember that it's nearly impossible. I mean, I once was in a court case for a stupid ticket, and I just told the judge, I was like 20-something. This was rough, but I told the judge, I go, look, I'll pay this ticket if you can recite every law by memory. I never paid the ticket. It was for like some infraction, some bullshit law that I have no idea about parking on a sidewalk in a certain district of a town. Like I'm not kidding. It was the weirdest thing. But I was like, dude, no. I'm like, there's so much to know that it's impossible. Like, that's how far gone it's gotten. But I think it's on purpose almost. Yeah, it's just so much. How can you deal with all of it? I'm 73. When I was a kid, we spent hours in school during doing logic problems. We also spent hours writing papers, analyzing books, history, and science. Our schools no longer do this. Yeah, I mean, I hated school, to be honest. It was a lot of bullshit that I knew I was never going to use. I forget what movie I saw, but they were like with their kids in this movie, and they go, "What do we say all the time, guys? We use algebra every single day." I thought that was funny. No one is offended because the people who need to see this won't watch it. Yeah, and how would you even know? The quote from George Carlin when it comes to stupid people is still relevant to this day. Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. Oh, God. We really messed up when we decided not hurting the feelings of stupid people. Okay. Youth ages, immaturity is outgrown, ignorance can be education, and the drunkenness sobered, but stupid lasts forever. I think Mark Twain once said, never argue with a stupid person. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. No, dude. A wise man knows that he does not know. A fool knows everything. Anyways, I'll leave a link to the rest of this chick's video. Super cool. Give her a like. But, yeah, man. You guys leave your thoughts on that. I honestly think it's almost rewarded. I really do. And then also, there's a level of what is my reward? Why even bother? That's kind of where it's at. Like, why even bother? I'm not saying everybody's stupid or retarded. It's not the truth. But for a lot of people, it's almost like if you don't know any better, and then if more stupid people have more babies and then they raise those babies, it's just Idiocracy the movie, right? It just comes to fruition over time. And then the smart people aren't having babies. That's kind of trippy to think about. But I honestly do think the stupidity, there is a level, there is this weird reward with it. And like drinking is stupid, smoking is stupid, but the reward with that is I get to forget about all this bullshit that I don't care about. That is society, right? We know, like, I don't know. I can go on forever about this, but I'll leave her information down below. Shout out to everybody who bought t-shirts. If you guys want, invest in yourselves, get some gold. Don't be stupid. I work with a company called Atlas Bullion, where they do like a subscription base where they just send you gold every month to your house. It's even something that us not so intelligent people can put our money into. You don't have to be rich to invest in gold. I have the $400 tier. You do a $150 tier, and then I don't have to think about it. It just gets shipped right to my house. I make about $1 for every $100 you spend. So it's people helping people. Church with the staple. Anyways, you want to get in contact with me? Information's down below. Hell of a talk. Stupidity is more dangerous than evil. That's awesome. Anyways, shout out to Simply Resilient Me. I'll leave her info down below. Classic.